everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Vicky.
And we're the Drama Mamas.
Yeah, we are.
This week we're taking on My Own Private Idaho, which is a tangential take on Henry the Fourth?
Fourth, yes.
Yes. So please silence your cell phones. Viewer discretion is advised. And now your feature presentation.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was written and directed by one person. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Gus Van Sant. He has 39 directing credits beginning in 1982, and this was his 8th credit. Basically, before this, he had just done a bunch of shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, he directed Good Will Hunting and the Psycho movie that was made in 1998.
Oh, okay. That explains a lot. I was talking to my work dad about this today because I'd asked him if he's seen it, and he had, and he enjoyed it. And he was like, he named the director, and he was like, he has interesting takes. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting. Yes. Let's see. Those were his directing credits, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah. He's done several music videos, including David Bowie, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Chris Isaak.
Okay.
Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was in the movie.
Yeah.
He has 13 writing credits, also beginning in 1982, and this was his 4th writing credit, before just the shorts, and since nothing I recognized.
Okay.
So the 2 stars of the film are River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves.
Which is weird.
Yeah, but I kind of, I was digging some Keanu Reeves. I haven't ever not, I've never been like, ew, Keanu Reeves, gross.
Right, but you're never like, ooh, Keanu Reeves.
Right, exactly. Just I never have to fan myself.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm never like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm naked.
Get it. River Phoenix. River Phoenix has 25 acting credits. Before this...
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, considering he died at the age of 23.
Yeah.
He was in Stand By Me, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I Love You to Death. I only mention that because Keanu Reeves was also in I Love You to Death.
Oh, I thought maybe you were making an off-color joke.
Me?
About
how dare you?
Him being dead.
All of my jokes are on color. That's not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Shut up. Since he was in a video for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then he died 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu Reeves, his career began in 1984, but I did not write how many credits he has because I don't know why.
Several.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been in a lot. Before this, he was in Dangerous Liaisons, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and Bogus Journey, and I Love You to Death. And since he's been in Much Ado About Nothing, A Walk in the Clouds, which is one of my personal favorites. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, it's so sweet. Deborah Messing is in it.
Oh, I love her.
Briefly, she plays he's a World War II vet,
uh-huh.
and they got married in the whirlwind romance of going off to war. And when he comes home, they're not meshing well. And he's having trouble making money, so he's selling chocolates. He's not thrilled to be doing this, but he's selling chocolates. And he goes on the road. He kind of feels like maybe there's something off about her.
Uh-huh.
But he goes on the road, and he runs into this woman on a bus, and people are giving her a hard time, and she's obviously upset. And he's just like, what's wrong? She ends up confiding in him that she's pregnant.
Aww.
Out of wedlock from a professor at her college that her father did not want her to go to.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, what if I posed as your husband long enough to establish that you were married, and then I leave you, and I'm just the jackass that left you, and you save face with your family. And then they fall in love.
Oh.
It's really good. Anyway, so he was in that.
I don't actually, I'm on the IMDb page right now, and it may be because, do you count how many are on there?
No, it says at the top, it has all the different, producer credits or whatever, and it'll say at the top how many. But if I have to count, like, I do have to count if it's, like, their 8th credit, I have to count. And that's why if it's, like, more than 10.
No. I mean, oh, never mind. He's got 93 acting credits.
Damn.
Yeah.
Let's see. He was in The Devil's Advocate, which is, Luke really likes that movie. Charlize Theron is in it. I think her tits are in it.
Oh.
Like, that's always a bonus for Luke. Like, if there's nudity.
Right, yeah.
He's down.
Did you realize that he's 53?
No.
I did not either.
And it does not bother me. Have you seen John Wick?
Yeah,
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned.
I'm a little bit concerned with how attracted I am to a 53-year-old. That's a bit concerning.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
He was in this little, like, trilogy or quadrilogy, I'm not even sure, called The Matrix. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
No, not at all. I've really not ever watched them. But I did play the game.
I have watched them, but years after they were huge. That is my life. The Replacements, A Scanner Darkly, which RDJ was in. We talked about it a little bit. The Lake House. And John Wick. I can't believe I didn't put Speed on here. I assume Speed was probably after My Own Private Idaho, but obviously that's like a big movie that he was in.
Okay.
Have you not seen Speed?
No.
It's him and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, sure.
And Jeff.
I don't remember seeing Sandra Bullock in anything up until Miss Congeniality.
We're gonna do 10 episodes on Sandra Bullock movies. Like, you're gonna learn.
Not next though, because there's already a poll.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie came out in 1991. Mm-hmm. So here's some hopefully less depressing news. Was it last time we did? No, it was 2014.
Oh gosh,
Was so depressing
when we did. Oh yeah.
What movie was that? Oh, it was Cymbeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1991, the USSR dissolved. Gorbachev resigned, and Boris Yeltsin took leadership in Russia.
Oh, okay.
The top song was Everything I Do For You by Bryan Adams.
I was alive when Putin wasn't in power.
You were.
That's surprising.
A mysterious hum started being heard by many, but not all, residents in Tayo, New Mexico. Tinnitus has been ruled out.
Huh.
New Mexico.
Huh.
Probably we're doing some testing, that's all I'm saying.
A little bit.
The Quicker Picker-Upper was made the Bounty slogan. Now it's the Quilted Quicker Picker-Upper.
Yeah.
On January 8th, 1990.
For some reason, when I hear Quicker Picker-Upper, I think of Swiffer.
Really?
Not Bounty.
It's funny that you say that because I think of Dirt Devil.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I don't think of Bounty, though.
I do think of the song, The Quicker Picker-Upper.
Yeah.
Which they did say
should.
Bounty.
We're going to have to Google that because I feel like they did say Bounty.
At the end, yeah. They say the Quilted Quicker Picker-Upper Bounty.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were saying that they didn't.
No, they do.
And I was like,
that's
no,
why
but
I'm like,
I remember
I shouldn't
it.
think of Dirt Devil
okay.
because they say Bounty.
Gotcha. I misunderstood.
On January 8th, 1991, a 16-year-old high school student named Jeremy Wade Dell shot himself in front of his English class. The event became the inspiration for Pearl Jam's song, Jeremy. Spoke in class today. The song is Jeremy, but he spoke in class today. The New York appellate... You know when you read words you don't often say and you almost say them wrong?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Or appellate. The New York Appellate Court ruled that a person can break their real estate purchase contract if they discover that they have unwittingly bought a haunted house.
Unwittingly bought a haunted house? Yeah, they have to tell you if somebody's been murdered.
Yeah, they do. They have to reveal that.
Which is good because when I was buying a house, I was concerned.
You know, every once in a while, because I write, if I get an idea or if I hear something that makes me think of something, I will like jot it down real quick just for future reference.
Right.
And I had typed in my notes for this podcast, but nowhere else, that this would be an excellent framing device for like a horror story. Like you would just start out in that, like someone's getting what is it? Not a brief, but like when you're being questioned by lawyers for the record. Starts with a D, I think.
Deposition.
Yeah. When you're getting deposed, like that's an excellent framing device for like them telling the story of what happened in the house.
Yeah.
But I didn't write it down. And I've been trying to, I was thinking of something that was a framing device. What was it? And I couldn't remember the type of story it was framing. It's not important. It was just, I noticed it here and I was like, thank God. It was driving me crazy.
You're funny. And move that note wherever you put your other notes, because whenever you write a story with that idea, I want to read it.
Okay. Cameron Todd Willingham was charged and executed in 2004 for allegedly setting his house on fire to murder his 3 children in 1991.
Oh,
all the evidence against him was debunked by experts in the fire investigations 5 years later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any way that goes, it's bad. Like, yeah. Whether he did it or somebody else did it, it's bad.
Well, whoever did it is presumably still out there. Yeah. And, I mean, what if it was an accident? Sucks. Comedian Red Fox suffered a fatal heart attack on the set. Do you know who Red Fox is? He was in Sanford & Son.
Oh, yes.
The dad?
Yes.
No one came to his aid because they all thought he was doing his classic I'm Coming Elizabeth fake heart attack routine.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I can see it. My daddy used to watch it all the time. I'd get home, I'd get off the school bus, and by the time I'd walk up the hill, it'd be like 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
And I would walk in the door, and it was on TV Land, and he'd be sitting there watching it while he was making dinner.
Luke likes to sing. It's not a song you can sing, but the theme song. Like, he'll just randomly do it sometimes. It's funny.
That is funny.
Maurice Kraft, a French volcanologist, was filmed saying, "I'm never afraid because I've seen so many eruptions in 23 years that even if I die tomorrow, I don't care." He was killed during an eruption the very next day, June 3rd, 1991, alongside his wife at Mount Unzen in Japan.
That's not fair. Did she say she didn't care?
It's like famous last words is all I'm saying. Like, I don't care if I die tomorrow. Did.
Fucking killed both of them with those words.
Cannibal serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer was captured in 1991. He had killed and sometimes eaten 17 people.
You know, as much as I listen to and read about and watch like serial killers and true crime stuff, for whatever reason, I thought that he was already in prison before I was born. And if it wasn't until 1991, he was not.
I had some misconceptions. I can't even remember what it was, but I was listening to a podcast about it, and I honestly don't know a lot about him or Ted Bundy or Ed Gein. Like, I just didn't know a lot. I just knew,
You know the basics.
Exactly. So when I was listening to that podcast, I was like, oh, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Well, now I've listened to several on Ted Bundy, and I'm just like, yeah, Ted Bundy and his Volkswagen. Hey, can you help me hitch my boat? No, you fucking creep. I'm not helping you do anything.
Wasn't he attractive, though?
Yeah.
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 That's the problem.
I know.
Zac Efron is playing him in a movie soon.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure it's Ted Bundy that he's playing.
Ooh.
And then that kid from One Direction. Wait, no. Was he from He was a Disney star. Starring as Jeffrey Dahmer in My Friend Dahmer. It might have come out already.
About that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a Disney star, not a One Direction.
Whenever we do true crime...
Right. We need to. That was on our short... guys, if you're listening to this, it's probably already closed, but we have just recently, as of this is being recorded, we've just recently put up we narrowed it down to like 2 genres that we could do, but we had narrowed it down to 4, and then we just wanted to make it simpler for everyone. Yeah. So it's either time travel or romantic comedy. And at this time, it looks like time travel is probably going to take it home.
Yeah, there's still about 2 weeks left, though. So,
but we also had, were talking about true crime and coming of age.
Coming of age, yeah.
I have the list right here.
You're funny.
Just staring at it like, what?
What does it say? I've got the worst handwriting.
Shut up.
That's what I think when I try to read back over stuff I've written. I'm like, what is that? Is that an N or an R?
No, this is interesting. Shut up. Everything I say is interesting, okay?
Okay.
A high-profile court case forced the British government to clearly define the difference between cake and a biscuit. In the end, the government published an official ruling that a cake is defined by its propensity to harden over time, whereas a biscuit has a propensity to soften. And I think biscuit, they mean cracker.
I thought biscuits were cookies.
Oh, maybe. I don't fucking know. Biscuits are biscuits here. We're in the South.
They were eating... Yeah, biscuits are biscuits.
Yeah.
And I'd like some chicken on mine.
Yeah, or gravy.
Or gravy. Yeah, I'd take gravy. Or
I like spicy.
Or
I prefer spicy
sausage
chicken if I'm going to do chicken.
And strawberry jelly.
I talk a lot of smack about fried chicken going on bread because it's already breaded. Like, when we go to Chick-fil-A, Luke will get the original chicken sandwich, and I'm just like, why? Why? It already has bread on it. Like, just go to KFC. And
it tastes different.
And then
it tastes really different.
We went to Chick-fil-A on one of my cheat days, and I got a spicy chicken biscuit, and he's like, that's breaded. I'm like, it's spicy chicken. That is a completely different animal. How dare you? And it is. I'm not debating this. This is fact. It's science.
It's not. You're wrong.
The spice cancels out the first breading.
No, it doesn't.
It was Freddie Mercury's dying wish for Bohemian Rhapsody, I said that weird, to be reissued in order to raise money for AIDS charities. When the song was re-released in 1991, it topped the charts, staying at number 1 for 5 weeks for the first time since its debut in 1975.
When I started working for that battery factory several years ago, my very first day on the way to work, Bohemian Rhapsody came on the radio, and I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be a good day. It was not a good day. It was until my muscles formed a little bit, there were no good days.
Teen Spirit was a real deodorant. I
don't know. Yeah.
And
I used that when I first
I used Teen Spirit. When I read that, I was like, duh, I guess it's not anymore.
1991.
One of Kurt Cobain's...
It's not anymore.
One of Kurt Cobain's friends spray painted "Kurt smells like Teen Spirit" on his wall because Kurt's then girlfriend wore Teen Spirit, which led to the title of the 1991 Nirvana hit song. Rolling Stone magazine originally gave Nirvana's Nevermind a 3-star rating. They now give it 5 stars and rank it as the 17th greatest album of all time. They had to get on the bandwagon.
What happens when
See,
you die.
I like to... I mean, obviously, with opinions, when you are presented with new facts or facts you were previously unaware of, you should alter your opinion.
Sure.
However, with regards to, was this good music...
Is this good music?
Yeah, is this good music? I don't know. Maybe stick to your guns a little.
Yeah. A little. I enjoy Nirvana, but I enjoy Nirvana on the bandwagon level in which I know the words to the 3 or 4 super popular songs. And the rest of the stuff, yeah.
If the vocals are a little like yeah, there's a couple parts where I just hum.
Yeah. But, you know, I would be really interested in being able to go to my own funeral. Like, you know, if my ghostly apparition, you guys wouldn't have to see me.
She's doing a thing with her arm.
I'm like an inflatable,
yes,
crazy arm man. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing it. That's my ghost arms. But I would be interested to see how many people were suddenly such good friends with me.
Oh.
How many people just I hung out with so much.
I just assume no one's really going to be there. Because Luke certainly isn't. Funerals are not his bag.
Well, I mean, because, like, whenever anybody dies, everybody
was super close to them.
Well,
when someone dies, like, I wasn't super close to my grandfather.
Right.
Like, he was fairly removed. Like, he was around a lot when I was little, and, like, he helped me move a couple of times, and, like, he would help me if my car was broken down, but we didn't have any in-depth conversations. I loved him, but I honestly couldn't say that I knew him or that he knew me. But when he died, it was heartbreaking. Like, it was heartbreaking on behalf of my grandmother. She's had a lot of loss in her life, and on behalf of my dad, who was close to his dad, and the fact, like, that I would never have the chance to get to know him. Like, it's one of those things in retrospect. Like, if he had lived 2 more years, it's not like I would have suddenly taken up the interest. But just knowing that it's not an option anymore is really sad.
I get that.
But, yeah, I get what you're saying as well.
You know.
Attention seeking.
There's a certain breed of person who needs to make everything about themselves.
Yes.
And I'd be interested to see how many of those were at my funeral. Because I would be like, smacking them in my ghost form. I'd be like, you cold? You cold?
You trash?
You nasty.
It was Super Bowl 25? Yeah. Man, it's been a minute since I've had to read Roman numerals. In 1991, with New Kids on the Block, that the halftime show switched from marching bands to pop rock music performances.
How many years later did we see what's her name's titty?
That was like early 2000s. Janet Jackson.
We
didn't. Well, we saw her titty. We didn't see her nipple. She had a tassel.
Tassel, yeah. Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, like I don't know. 20 paintings were stolen from the Amsterdam Van Gogh Museum and were then recovered 35 minutes later because the robbers got a flat. Like, if that's not my luck, I don't know what is. A man found first printing of the Declaration of Independence inside the frame of a $4 painting he'd bought at a flea market in Adamstown, Pennsylvania. It sold at auction for $2.4 million.
Holy shit.
Lucky.
Right. I was about to say, you know who does not have that kind of luck? Me. I bought a $2 scratch-off ticket today. I'm just out $2.
Nice.
I'm just out $2.
In a scene in Hook, there's a couple kissing on a bridge while Tinkerbell is flying over, dropping fairy dust on them and sending them flying. The couple was actually an uncredited cameo by George Lucas and Carrie Fisher.
Oh.
Right? I thought that was pretty cool. Christian Bale's stepmother, Gloria Steinem, which, hold the phone. What? Christian Bale's stepmother is Gloria Steinem.
I'm trying to place Gloria Steinem.
Well, I have a little explanation for you.
Okay, great.
Was a feminist who protested the 1991 publication of the novel American Psycho. Like, she's a well-known feminist.
Okay.
So she protested the publication of American Psycho. Can you repeat what you just said?
I am not
a feminist.
A well-known feminist.
Okay. I was about to say, bitch.
I don't describe myself as a feminist.
That's because the word has connotations that it shouldn't have.
But I want to make the same amount of money as my peers do. But I honestly don't know that I don't.
Right.
Because pay is top secret. It's like, you don't share that.
Wonder why.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so she protested due to its portrayal of violence toward women. In 2000, Bale went on to star as the title character of the novel's film adaptation, American Psycho. Have you ever seen it?
I feel...
it's fucking weird.
I'm not sure.
I didn't not like it, but it is fucking weird.
But I'm not sure if I did.
Jason Alexander threatened to quit Seinfeld in the third season. After the table read of The Pen, which features only Jerry and Elaine, Alexander pulled Larry David aside and said, "If you write me out again, do it permanently." In 9 seasons, that was the only episode that he wasn't in.
Wow. You know, I wasn't a big Seinfeld fan, but he needed to be there.
Yeah. Well, apparently, he was basically an avatar for Larry David. Like Larry David, all the weird shit that he did on that show was stuff like Larry David did on the regular. Like all the crazy opinions, the crazy reactions, that's Larry David.
Gotcha.
That's what I've heard. It could be bullshit, I don't know. So the top 3 highest grossing films 1991 was Terminator 2.
Okay.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
Yep. And the Oscar winner was
my
Dances
personal
with Wolves.
favorite.
So that was a good year for Kevin Costner.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's talk about the plot of the movie, and then we can do some movie trivia if you want.
All right.
Okay, so My Own Private Idaho is there are two main characters, Mike and Scott.
Yeah.
Mike is probably more the main character than Scott.
I'd agree.
He has narcolepsy. He has obviously had a traumatic youth. He is working the streets of like Seattle. He's a prostitute, a grifter, a hustler.
Hustler.
That's the word they use. So he is just basically getting by, and not very well, because he has a stress reaction with his narcolepsy. So when he gets really stressed or scared, he passes out. And
it's often.
As a prostitute, you're put in a lot of scary situations, so he's not doing great. But he gets it in his head that he wants to go home and see his brother. So he and Scott go to Idaho, which is where he's from, and they see his brother. They have a really weird conversation where his brother is actually his dad, or is he his brother and his dad? It's not clear.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure because I completely missed the part where they said it was his brother.
Yeah, he's like, let's go see my brother. And then his brother's talking to him, and he's just like, let me tell you who your real dad is. He's like, I know who my real dad is. And he tells him this story about
his mom shooting the guy.
Yeah, this like, not a card shark. He was like a card counter kind of. Yeah. Real slick. He wasn't into commitment. She had an anchor baby, which was Mike. And then he still didn't want to commit to her, so she shot him in the face at the movies.
Yeah.
And he's just like, that's bullshit. You're my dad, and we both know it. Which was weird.
Dude freaks out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
You know, my parents have these friends, and the husband, he's very funny, and they come over for something, like, we gone to bed, but he was coming to pick up some, like, tools he had left over, because he, like, would help us when we were remodeling shit. Right. Anyway, so he's coming over after we had just gone to bed, so we were still awake.
Right.
And so my dad heard him coming up the steps, so he just goes and starts flicking on and off the porch lights, and he just yells out, I've got narcolepsy. So every time I hear the word narcolepsy, that's what I think, like he's falling asleep and waking up. It probably happened when I was maybe 14, but I still remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Probably not as funny as I think that it is.
No, it's funny.
But I think it's pretty funny.
People listening to this right now are just like falling out of their cars laughing.
Okay. Well, hopefully not. Because they're the only ones listening.
So his brother, dad, his dad brother.
His druther?
His uncle.
Frother.
Let's call him an uncle.
Frother.
This is father's brother.
Father, okay.
Anyway, he gives him an address where his mom is supposed to be, like this hotel. Yeah. So they go there, and she's not there anymore. She went to Italy.
Yeah.
So they stick this German guy, who is someone that they've met along the way, with a stolen bike. They sell it to him after they fuck him, and they take the money and buy tickets to Italy. The sex scenes confused me. Really we'll talk about them in a minute. So they go to Italy. She's not there, but there is a girl there, and so Scott ends up leaving Mike in the dust with the girl. He leaves with the girl. Mike goes back. Love. Yeah, whatever. Mike goes back to Portland, and he's back on the streets, not doing well. And then he decides that he's going to go home. He's going to try to find his mom. He's going to do it. And we leave him in Idaho, where he basically says, I'm never going to get off this road. He gets robbed because he passes out on the road. And then someone picks him up, and we don't know what that means. Like, we don't know if it's a good Samaritan or someone else that's going to fuck him over.
I thought it looked like Keanu Reeves.
Oh, I did not think that.
I didn't.
I think it'd be cool if it was.
Did, but I thought the person that got out of the car did.
I just figured it was some random person. and you don't know if it's a good person or a bad person or what. I was really pissed when the first car that comes by, they stop, and I was like, oh, it's a truck. They can put him in the back. No, they just take his shoes and his bag. Like, fuck those guys.
Yeah. They're some assholes.
So Scott, on the other hand, he is the mayor's son, the mayor of Portland's son. And he's going through a rebellious phase. He doesn't want to have anything to do with his dad. He's living on the streets until he can get his trust fund and live the real life. Do it.
That fucking shithead.
Yeah, so, like, and he's not just living on the streets. He's, like, thriving on the streets. Like, he's doing really well.
Yeah.
He kind of takes up for Mike. He kind of, you know, picks him up and dusts him off. And he's actually pretty good to Mike. And he has the kind of leader of the hustlers. And he have, like, this father-son dynamic. And they get along really. He says on several occasions he loves him.
Yes.
Like a father. More than his father. So... he and Mike go on their adventures. When they're in Italy, he falls in love with the girl. They have some weird sex. And then he brings her home. And when he gets in the car, he has a letter that presumably says his father has died. So he returns home. He cleans up his act. He gets his money. And he basically leaves everything else behind. The father that he loved approaches him because he basically told him that he would give him a job when he was in power, and he basically tells him to fuck off, and then that guy dies. And the last time we see Scott, he is at his father's funeral, and he can see the hustlers having a funeral of their own for Bob, the fat guy who's not actually super fat, but everyone acts like he's super fat.
Right.
Like, they act like he should be on my 600-pound line.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's heavy, but he's not that heavy.
Right. He's obese, but not morbidly so.
Right. Like, he probably has to shop at Big and Tall, but he doesn't have to order special sizes there.
No.
Anyway, so he sees them mourning the way that he probably would prefer to mourn, and mourning the person that he would probably prefer to mourn, but he sticks to his guns, and he stays his course.
Yes. So
that was interesting. Tell me about King Henry IV.
Okay.
The play. Not I don't give a shit about the person.
Well, that's good, because I don't know anything about the person. He was a king. And the fourth of his name.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's all I got. Okay. So, Henry IV has two main plots that intersect in a dramatic battle at the end of the play. The first plot concerns King Henry IV, his son, and their strained relationship. The second concerns a rebellion that is being plotted against King Henry by a discontent family of noblemen in the north who are angry because of King Henry's refusal to acknowledge his debt to them. The play's scenes alternate between these two plot strands until they come together at the play's end. Which, as I told you before we started recording, I wish I had read prior to watching the movie.
Yeah.
Because it makes it make a little bit more sense.
The movie was a bit hard to follow at first. Like, it felt really choppy. Basically...
It was like it had bad editing. But I guess it's like he's got narcolepsy, so he's falling asleep, and then it chops to... he's waking up somewhere else, and you're like, what the fuck?
It's that, and also it's showing... It's unclear to me if it's showing what he dreams of when he is...
Yeah. Yeah, don't think we didn't catch you not silencing your cell phone. Again.
It's not clear if if they're showing what he's dreaming when he's out, or if they're showing, because there's several points where something is happening and it's like he's flashing, it's like PTSD. It's like he's remembering something traumatic from his youth related to what's happening in the present.
Yeah.
And it's causing his narcolepsy to take effect.
Yeah.
That was the feeling that I got. It's one of those two things, or maybe both.
Maybe both.
The sex scenes confused me because...
really weird.
One of the very first scenes is this guy giving Mike a blowjob.
Yeah.
For money.
Yeah.
And it is
I was like, how are you getting paid to get blown?
People...
Fucking
You know
Jesus.
what? We're going to discuss some things.
Okay.
But it's done like a standard straightforward sex scene in that you see one person's reaction, the other person comes up, they basically wipe their mouth, and you're just like, okay, a blowjob has happened. Yep. That is, fellatio has taken place.
Fellatio has taken placio.
But the other two sex scenes, I just heard what you said.
I was like, how dare you not laugh at my joke? It was funny.
It was funny. So,
God.
The other two sex scenes are like, they're with the
Hans?
German, Hans. I wanted to say Gus. I knew that wasn't right. Hans, the German guy, and the Italian girl, Carmela.
Okay.
So those are the only other two sex scenes. And they're, Hans, it's just like cuts of them being still in sexual positions.
It's like, yeah.
And when I saw it, because we had seen a straightforward sex scene, I was just like, Hans is into some weird ass shit.
Right? I was like, what the actual fuck is happening?
No one can say that fucking someone in an uncomfortable place is weird after you've seen this movie, because that's some weird ass shit.
No, the back of a Volkswagen is fine as long as you're not like sucking toes and being fucking
so
weird.
Like, I was like, that's such a weird thing to get off on. Just like being in that position and then standing completely still like a statue.
Yeah. But we had seen something earlier where the guy got off on something really weird.
Yes.
The guy with the fucking
the cleaning guy.
Yeah, oh my God. That
was super weird.
Wow. Yeah. I was like, what has happened in this guy's childhood?
I called him numerology dude because he was really into numbers.
Yeah, he was like, I was born 4444 and that's 16 and 6 plus 1 is 7 and that's the luckiest number.
Yeah, that's some twisted logic, bro.
Right? So, anytime people start talking like that, I'm like, how does your brain work?
And stop.
Right? Like,
what is that gif from SNL? And like, why? And like, don't. So the numerology dude is weird. He's really into cleaning. And then I just typed, okay, this is someone who's into some weird shit.
Yeah.
Mall rats. I actually typed mall rats.
Mall rats. Weird.
So then I thought that Hans was just into some super weird art still life bullshit.
Right? He's like...
But then we see Carmela and Scott having sex, and they do the same thing, where they do these super weird cuts of them being still in sexual positions, and I was like, oh, this is just how he's doing sex scenes.
Yeah.
Not clear.
No.
Not clear.
Not clear.
So Hans gets really a little bit more of a pass than I originally, because I was just like, what the actual fuck?
Before they started the sex scene, he was like, oh, I used to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he did like his dance with the lamp.
Yeah, which was freaking Mike out.
I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. At that point in the movie, I was like, Hans, you may end up being my MVP.
Oh my God.
You are fabulous.
Fabulous.
No.
He reminded me when they're in Idaho at the brother's house and they see all the paintings that he's done. Mm-hmm. And there's that one weird ass where it's like lit from below and it's just the face, like someone's coming out of the darkness.
Ooh. And
they're lit from below. That face looked just like Hans because he's holding the lamp under his face and he's got those big blue eyes.
Oh my gosh.
And I immediately associated with the painting we had seen in the earlier scene.
I didn't even notice the painting.
Really?
Yeah.
It freaked me out.
Maybe I was like taking a note at that moment, but I didn't notice.
I read somewhere that like lighting from beneath, because of the lines that it creates, the shadows that it creates on your face, it's supposed to give a sinister feel. And it's unnatural. Like generally light, it doesn't come from below you. It comes from above or to the side of you. So like it feels sinister.
I get it.
Like people use that in photography and shit.
Yeah, I get it. I guess like I'm really into weird stuff. You know, like Rocky Horror. They do his makeup kind of like that, so he looks like he's lit from
severe
below.
Lines.
And so I dig that look. Mm-hmm. But I thought he was great. I was like, oh, you're fucking weird, but I love you.
Of course you do. I thought he was weird. And Mike really didn't like him either. Like at all. He was just like, that guy's a pervert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's like, I know what guys like you want. You're fucking people for money. Like, you're still like, mm-mm.
The line in the sand that was drawn by Scott about when you are gay and when you are not gay was odd for me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess. But he's just like, if you're getting paid for it, it's not gay.
Right.
It's just getting paid.
Yeah.
But when you start doing it for free, then it's gay. And I'm like, bro.
Right.
Like, I hate to break it to you.
Homo on the Range. The cover of the magazine he was on.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the actual name of the magazine was, but one of the top stories was Homo on the Range. And I was like,
Mike says something in that scene where he's just like, you're just waiting for a big payday.
Yeah.
Like, you have money waiting for you.
Right.
So if that's your line in the sand, you're gay.
Yeah.
Like, but he never says that
to him.
He never even alludes to that to him.
Mm-mm.
But I think it's interesting that that's probably what he thinks.
Yeah.
So, River Phoenix wrote the campfire scene.
Oh.
He wrote it in private on little scraps of paper, and the director was under the impression that he had been writing song lyrics and was surprised when he told him he'd rewritten the scene. And the director liked what River presented, but didn't know if Keanu Reeves would be up for it. River assured him that he'd already privately talked to Keanu. It sounds weird to just say Keanu.
It does. I say Keanu Reeves.
About it. He was fine with everything, and
that's how he got famous.
Gus Van Sant says he's had to give complete faith to River since he was completely left out of the loop on the whole scene.
Wow.
I mean, that is faith. And I'm pretty sure this was made, this had to have been made on film, so this is money.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive.
It kind of is. Like,
because he just died, 2 years later, right?
I don't know anything about River Phoenix. Like, I knew that he died young, and I think he's Dude Bro's brother.
Dude Bro.
The guy that was in Walk the Line. I might be, confusing something in my head. You know
the
guy?
Johnny Cash movie?
Yeah, the guy that starred in it. What's his name?
The guy, I don't know the guy who fucking played Johnny Cash. His name is Johnny Cash. I don't care about the actor.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's River Phoenix's... Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There's some names.
Yeah, Joaquin... River Phoenix's middle name was interesting too. I can't remember what it was. But
Jude.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Phoenix is a cool last name. I wish my last name was Phoenix.
Summer, Rain, Liberty, Jodine Bottom.
Jodine or Jolene?
Jodine.
Damn it.
Jodine Bottom. She's the only... I say she. It could be a he. There's not a picture of that one. It says sister. Oh, maybe she's married.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Now, the character Mike was supposed to... He was written much more removed, like a zombie, but River Phoenix brought depth and nuance to the role and breathed life into it, according to the director. Let's see... The executives at New Line Cinema hated the Shakespearean dialogue and wanted it cut to as little as possible. The foreign distributors, however, loved it and wanted it as much as possible. So pressure from the distributors convinced New Line to keep the dialogue intact.
I actually dug it.
I did too, because it was just sprinkled in. And it was from two characters that I felt like would actually say shit like that.
Yeah.
Because the only two people that really said anything Shakespearean were Scott, who was raised... in private schools and shit.
Right.
And Bob, who was a crazy old street guy, and we don't know his history.
And I liked that, the house that they stayed in, the old lady, she talked a little bit Shakespearean, but she dressed
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, oh, shit, lady. You're some crazy old fucking lady. I was about to say crazy old hood rat, but she didn't look like a hood rat. These were not hood.
Right. No.
They would not.
They were straight homeless.
They're not going to make it out alive of the Macon Mall.
The motorcycle that was used in the film is actually Keanu Reeves' motorcycle.
Really?
He looked good on it. That's all I'm saying.
That's funny because he was like, I didn't know it would be so hard to turn it over. Yes, you did.
Possibly the worst cop ever. Because when he pulls that,
right?
He pulls them over, helps them get it started.
Yeah.
Then he pulls Hans over on the same stolen bike.
Yeah.
Still does not run the plates.
He said, I'm still going to give you a speeding ticket.
Yep. That, for some reason, that really tickled me.
It was funny. He was like, you really like that bike, huh? Well, I'm glad, but I'm still going to give you a ticket.
Because River Phoenix agent refused to show him the film treatment for My Own Private Idaho, in late 1990, Keanu Reeves rode his motorcycle from Canada to Phoenix' hometown of Gainesville, Florida, to hand deliver it to him.
Wow.
Right?
What a shitty manager. Or agent. Whatever you said.
I don't know. Like, there's some artists who need hand-holding and need to be, you know, like... And he was obviously unstable. Well, I say obviously unstable. He died of an overdose. So he was...
That's easy enough to do.
Especially if you were trying to quit. Because you don't have the tolerance you used to have, and then...
Yeah. That's easy enough to do.
I could see that being excusable, given some more information. But just reading it outright, you're just like, yeah, what a dick.
Yeah.
Many members of the cast, including River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, Flea, and Michael Parker, moved into the director's large old household in Portland, Oregon during filming. They apparently caused such a disturbance and overtook the house to such an extent that Van Sant was eventually... he moved out of his own house to stay with a friend in order to get some sleep.
Wow.
Yep.
That was a pretty...
Like, I kind of wanted... I would
house.
be interested to have seen what went on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's most of my trivia.
It must have been quite the ruckus.
So, I could really see... Like, I still don't know much about King... or Henry IV.
Right.
I just don't know much about it. But
I don't either.
I could see it being a story told in Shakespearean times. Like, you pretty much get the feeling that Scott would be a king's son in a Shakespearean play. Like, that's pretty obvious.
Yes.
And that the hustlers would be outlaws of some sort.
Right.
Like, I was thinking Robin Hood, Little John, those kinds of people.
I can get behind that.
And
I don't know why I said I can like 4 times.
One of the best scenes is Mike and Scott, they're with the hustlers. The hustlers have come up with a scheme to jump some musicians that walk through the park with their payoff. And so Mike and Scott peel away from the group, and they're just like, in case they run away, we'll be apart from you guys so that we can chase them more easily.
Yes.
So they rob them, the rest of the hustlers, and then Mike and Scott dress up differently, and they set off a bunch of fireworks to scare off the hustlers, and then they take the payday as a joke.
Yes.
And
which I thought was funny.
It was very funny. And it showed a lot of cunning on Scott's part.
Yes.
Like, he anticipated everyone's movements.
Right.
It just showed a deeper level, I think, to his intellect.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then they're telling the story of how they got robbed of their robbed goods. And Bob is just spinning this yarn about,
so like, ridiculous.
It's like a fishtail. Like, he just keeps adding to it and adding to it. And then Scott's just like, no, bro. Like, we did it. Here's the money. Like, it was just really funny. And that scene particularly felt like something straight out of a Shakespearean play. And it probably was.
Yeah.
But that was probably the clearest picture I had of it coming from the source material. For me. Was there anything that stuck out to you?
Not so much about Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of stuff where I was like, oh, that's weird.
The cleaning.
The cleaning. He's like, oh, that noise. And I was like, oh, no, that noise, like, that's
it's horrible.
Awful.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? So at first, I was really confused. Because Bob was like, oh, my one true son. And I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that his dad? Is the mayor, like, he's fucking down? Like, he's down.
I did not pick up on the fact that his dad was the mayor. And so he was talking about how his dad was rich or his dad was well off. And he lived in a neighborhood like this. And then they show Bob and he says, my true father. And I'm like...
Right.
What do you consider a neighborhood like that?
Yeah, I wasn't putting it together in my head. I was like, wait. Hold on. And then Bob said something like, at one point, he's like, until I met you, I wasn't nearly this bad. I only gambled 7 days a week.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, okay. But in those moments when I was confused as to whether he was or he wasn't, I was like, Bob looks like he could legit be Keanu Reeves' dad.
Yeah.
Like, they had familiar faces and similar faces.
I would say more so than the guy that actually played his dad.
Yeah.
When Bob is spinning his yarn, he's accusing River Phoenix's character and Keanu Reeves' characters of fleeing out of fear. And he says, I'd give $1,000 to be able to run as fast as you can. And Mike goes, it'll never happen, Bob.
He said, I know.
Just the way he says, it'll never happen, Bob. It's not even mean. He's just like, there's no way.
I'm just too fast.
So fun. No, you're too fat. They harp on how fat he is so much in this movie.
A lot.
And I'm just like, poor Bob.
And let's see. On his dad's coffin, that coffin tapestry, why was it a fucking beaver? Like, why was there a beaver on it?
Did not even notice. Gun to my head, I knew there was a tapestry. I remember seeing a tapestry. Yeah. It was like blue and silver.
Something like that.
But I could not tell you what was on it.
I thought it was green and gold.
It's really not important.
Is it a black dress or is it a blue dress?
Fuck. Is it Slytherin or Ravenclaw?
I didn't see that one.
And given his character's probably
you're making
Slytherin.
A joke. Never mind.
I do that. And if it was a beaver, isn't that Hufflepuff? Isn't it?
I don't. Is it? They're beavers?
I want to say, because I've given Chris a lot of shit about that.
I don't fucking know.
Badger.
Yeah. I said at the beginning-ish of the movie when Mike is begging the guy who blew him for an extra $10. When I saw that $10, I was like, money has changed.
Yeah.
Because I would not take that 10.
20s used to look a lot like
I would be like,
I don't know about it.
I don't know about all this. When I first started working, I was working in a grocery store. And some lady brought in a $2 bill.
Right.
To pay with it. And I knew, like, I'm old enough to remember when $2 bills were still a thing. But I hadn't seen one in so long that I wasn't sure if it was still good.
And it's weird that people would use it. Like,
yeah. I was like,
that shit now.
I was like, am I allowed to take this? They got, like, mad. They were like, it's money. And I was like,
all right.
I mean, they were like, you're ignorant. I was like, I'm 16 and I've not seen this since I was like 8.
The campfire scene, Mike says something about if he had had a normal family, things might have been different, like a normal father. He had a normal
dog.
Yeah. And Scott kind of mocks him a little bit, and it just really shows the place of privilege he comes from to not even understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because it's not just that he didn't have a father figure. Like, there's some fucked up shit going on.
Right.
Like, from day one.
Right.
And he is still trying to find a way to cope with it.
Right.
And it just completely bypasses Scott. Although, Scott, they established that they're each other's best friends.
Yes.
And Mike says that he's in love with him. And Scott's just like, I'm not into that, bro.
Yeah, he's not gay.
Yeah.
I'm not gay.
Whatever. And... But then he allows him to hug him. Yeah. Which was kind of tender. Like, it was sweet. And I wonder, because the only person that really approaches Scott after he goes back to his previous life is Bob. And I wonder, because Mike didn't even come with him. Like, Mike was still asleep outside when Bob went to see him and was turned away. But I wonder... if it would have been different if Mike had been the one that approached him, because I feel like he kind of had a soft spot for Mike. Yeah. Because he was so helpless. Yeah. And I don't know, like I'm just kind of wish that we could have seen that. Although it would have made me very upset if he had treated Mike the same way that he treated Bob.
It made me upset that he treated Bob that way. I was really
I
upset.
knew he would.
I figured he would, but when the movie was over and he hadn't, like, I'm almost positive, like, I'm over here trying to Google it, that Keanu Reeves is the one who picks him up at the end. Because that was the only, like, because after he was robbed, I was like, is this really going to be the end of the movie? You're not going to leave, you're not going to give me any redemption for Keanu being a dick.
Nope.
You're not gonna let fucking Mike find his mom.
That's what makes it Shakespearean.
You're not gonna fucking let me have anything.
It sucks.
No, I feel like it was fucking... I'm trying really hard to find it. I'm like, where are you at? Who picked you up? But it doesn't.
It looks like... Because Scott keeps looking over to Bob's funeral.
Yes.
And they never actually, like, show... scenes like back to back, but it looks like Mike sees him looking.
It does.
And starts to really revel in the way that they're mourning, because it's the way that they mourn is not typical. It's like loud and it's disintegrating into like this orgy, and it's hedonistic. It's not like a normal funeral. And it's like Mike is only half there. Wild. And then when he sees Scott is watching them,
he's entirely there.
Yeah.
It
like brings him to the present, and he just delves in, which I thought was interesting.
I don't reckon that either of us wrote down what Mike was saying at the end of the movie when
he said something about the road, and he was never going to get off the road, basically.
He thought that the road would go on forever, and it was going on around the entire world. So, I'm not sure how reliable this website is, but this is in the very end. We see Mike lying on the side of the deserted country road. A car pulls up to him, and a figure puts him inside. We see that Scotty is the one driving the car. The last shot is that of the car disappearing down the road. Mike's voiceover says something that alliterates to Scotty being his home. And that was Keanu's character.
It wasn't clear enough for me to have seen it that way, but that's okay.
I mean, I saw it that way. But it may have been because I was like, where's my goddamn redemption?
Right. Whoever wrote that has never been on a country road.
That was not a country road. No.
There were lines. It was wide enough for two cars.
There were fields, but that's because it's Idaho and there's nothing there.
But like...
That was not a country road. Idaho is country. A country road is not road.
Right. Just because you're surrounded by farms, it doesn't mean that you're on a country road.
No.
Okay, so... did Bob die of an OD?
You know, it's not. They say one of the hustlers said he died of a broken heart.
Right.
But I'm not sure.
He was awfully like clammy and
they said he was cold.
Yeah. And
his whole body felt cold
to God.
God. Because first he was like, God. And then his eyes got wide like he actually saw God, and he said it one last time and then done.
Like a question.
Yeah. Like, oh, shit.
You're here?
I was like, oh, shit. Maybe I need to rethink my life.
I mean, I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
We kind of bounced around a little bit, but that's all right.
The movie bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little disorienting at first.
You know, I kind of like, maybe somebody can, I don't know, give us some feedback, but I kind of dig what we're doing right now with, like, the summary of the movie, and then even with it going back and forth, just saying the stuff that was interesting to us. I feel like that's solid.
It feels good to do, and, like, I think it's fine, but if people that listen don't, then they need to let us know.
Yeah, because otherwise we're just going to keep doing it the way that we decide to do it.
I do what I want.
Yeah.
All right, so who's your MVP? Please don't say Hans.
I want to say Hans, but I also want to say Bob.
Yeah, I was going to say Bob.
So I liked Hans as a character. I thought his dance was funny, and he did do a lot as far as getting them places.
Right.
But I feel like Bob probably, you know, he was more prominent in their life.
Right.
And had more of a deciding factor. Mm-hmm. And he didn't, like, as far as I could tell, he did not sleep with the hustlers.
No.
He was
he seemed super open to sleeping with Scott, but it did not ever seem like he forced himself on anyone or that he even had a relationship like that with anyone.
He didn't have a skeezy mustache. Mm-mm. He was dirty, but he wasn't, like, gross. Dirty.
Yeah. There was a hustler in their group that was really young, and he had, like, long, gingery blonde hair, and he had big blue eyes, and he looked so familiar to me.
Was it the one with the big lips?
Yeah.
Really big. He looked familiar to me, too, but I
looked him up, and, like, IMDb has no pictures of him.
What the fuck?
But he looked so familiar that it was, like, bugging the hell out of me. I tried to look him up, like, 3 times when I was watching this movie.
That sucks.
But yeah, Bob would be my MVP.
So we're going to say that.
Now, this is not a movie that I would recommend to anyone. Everyone, I mean. Just anyone.
To just anyone. I was like, dang, I didn't think it was that bad. Like,
No. I actually enjoyed it. Like, I was interested the whole time, and I was invested in the characters, and I thought the actors had good chemistry, like, in almost every relationship that was vital to the story. But I don't know that this would be enjoyable for everyone. I think it's like one of those movies, if you're in the mood to see something different, that has a different rhythm,
if you're in the mood to see something fucking weird.
Yeah, and, like, some people are really put off with
stuff that's gay,
prostitution, and things that are gay, like gay relationships. Like, there are some people that just won't watch Brokeback Mountain because they know that it has a homosexual relationship in it, and they're just like, I'm not down with that.
That's interesting. I won't watch Brokeback Mountain because it has cowboys in it.
Oh, man.
That's not true. I've just not watched it.
I haven't seen it either. We could do that.
My high school boyfriend ended up getting stuck watching it because I took a shower. And yes, I took that long of a shower.
I haven't seen it, but it's not, like, because...
Right. Like, I've not gone out of my way not to see it.
Right.
I've just not seen it.
So, for that reason... And, like, some people, it just makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But... if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, I think this movie was interesting. Like,
sure.
If you're looking for a love story, don't bother.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a feel good movie, don't bother. Yeah. But if you want something that's interesting and that's, like I said, different, then I would recommend. I wouldn't
maybe a little artsy.
Yeah. It's nothing like Requiem for a Dream, but because they have those, like, fast cuts when they begin each new act, but it did remind me of the feeling.
Right.
I don't know if if you've seen the movie, maybe you can understand what I'm saying.
Cinematography.
Yeah, just the
similar.
Yeah, the picture that the director's trying to paint, I think, was similar in tone. But anyway, so I wouldn't tell you not to watch it if you wanted to, but I wouldn't.
It wouldn't be the first movie I would recommend.
My mom is never gonna see this movie. Never gonna. And I would never even mention to her the movie because it would just fall on deaf ears. All right, so as always, thank you for listening.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
Please feel free to give us a rating on wherever you want. You can contact us on social media. We're on Facebook, the Drama Mamas Podcast. We are on Twitter at Drama Mamas Pod. And we have a Gmail, Drama Mamas Podcast.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. So... is that everything?
I think so.
Okay, cool. I just ran through that.
Zoomed right through it.
I did.
You're like, now what was I supposed to
We've
say?
been talking for like an hour, and it just feels like we just sat down to talk.
I know.
To me. But anyway, as always, remember to save the drama
for these mamas. Next week on the Drama Mamas.
May the record show that you took it back.
I take back that you are a shitty actress. You still have a shitty face.